So thanks for inviting me to this conference. It has been fantastic so far with uh, being here and seeing all the presentations. I'm Panos Giannarakis. I'm associate professor and director of teaching and learning in economics at City University and digital champion in the School of Policy and Global Affairs. Today, I'm going to present a case study of curriculum innovation on a dissertation module which I think is a transferable model to other institutions as well. So um, we know that the undergraduate dissertations remain central to all research-led universities. However, we face with a large and diverse cohort of students with different background and especially different quantitative skills, which makes the dissertation delivery difficult to sustain, not only from a pedagogical point of view, but also from how to organize it. And this case study will present a redesign of dissertation as a curriculum system. So just to give you a background, I used to be at Southampton University in the UK, where we had on average 200 students every year that they had to take a core module of their dissertation, and around 30 academic staff that were supervising dissertations. And I have been the dissertation coordinator for more than 11 years, if I remember right. So I could see students with completely different economic preparation and background, and some more confident, some less confident. And also the supervision was challenging for staff because of the topic specializations, because of some of them they were in sabbaticals or they were leaving the university. And so I had to find ways to make the dissertation more sustainable within the given resources. And we had originally we had one dissertation module across two semesters, and we, as a department, we wanted to redesign the whole dissertation, but adding a new option was not enough, and this is the main message of the presentation. It required changes in how we allocate the students, how we support them, how we support supervisors, and how we overall coordinate the dissertation. And what I think is the allocation between students, supervisors, and topics is very fundamental for student experience and for staff as well. So here I'm going just to show two school of thoughts on how on supervision models. So there are, as you know, already two school of thoughts on how we allocate students. So the supervisor first model, where the student has to identify a supervisor, and then they have to propose a topic, and then they can start a dissertation, or the topic first model, where the student will do their research. They will see what they like to do more. They will select a topic, and the director of dissertations will assign a supervisor who knows hopefully well the topic, and then the student will start the dissertation project. I'm more in favor of a topic first model. I have seen, but I will say a bit more about this in a bit. Allocation is not just an admin process, but it will have a fundamental impact on student progress and student experience. So it's something that we should take into consideration a lot. And with supervisor first model, I think we can create disadvantages because there will be students that are more confident. They they can speak better. They can maybe do better networking. So they may have identified already a person who they think that they will work very well against students that may be more shy, maybe from an ethnic background who are more shy, for example, and they may not do this matching well. Um, or students may choose a supervisor who they like a lot, but may not be very close to their interest. So I can see many things going wrong there. And anecdotally, I have evidence from other departments where they have used this system and they have created problems, as I said, in terms of students complaining that they didn't find the right fit, and also for the staff. And however, on the contrary, I think that topic first allocation will make the student to investigate the research area that they would like to commit themselves for a year, and then the director of teaching will do the appropriate matching. Um, so before telling you the modular decision pathways, we start from here. The department used to have before me more, even the topic first model may be problematic because in our department, for example, we had 40 specialized topics. And this create a lot of issues for staff and for students because they were aligned very well, these specialized topics, to staff expertise. And when member staff was on sabbatical or on leave, or as a specialized topic was becoming more and more popular, we had to assign staff that they were not so specialized in that topic. This created many anxiety also from the staff perspective. So as a department, we decided to move from that model and create around 20 broader themes. I asked staff uh, for which 5 or 6 topics they are more comfortable to supervise, and then the allocation of students and staff and supervisors was very effective. I didn't receive almost none complaints over the years, or very limited complaints. So I think this worked well. And however, and here is the innovation. I have 6 minutes. The problem of students' diverse quantitative background still persisted, and we had to find a way to help those students with or to offer some alternatives from those students that they have more, let's say, weak quantitative background, or they have different skills. And so we did, we split the dissertation into 3 new modules, which was unlikely during the pandemic as well. So this was challenging, but this is another story. And so in semester 1, we created a module that focused on literature review. So these modules basically prepare the student to understand how to read a paper, how to put it in the literature, and then to start developing their is review in the topic that they have chosen, and at the end of the semester to develop a research question for a potential empirical project. Of course, all this was followed with student support, with workshops, with feedback, and with writing tasks that we helped students. And then in semester 2, students had the option to do an empirical dissertation, which was a traditional, basically, dissertation with individual supervision. But this was more for students that they were mainly interested in more scientific analysis. And however, we also created a new module, the ICON 38, which was for students who were more interested on policy questions, not so fascinated in super complicated econometric techniques, but more on interpreting the results. And the difference there was that that module was a topic-led module with so we were providing students with topic-led lectures specialized on a topic and tutorials, structured resources with policy relevant questions. We were providing also secondary data for them to be able to analyze and answer policy-oriented questions, and with a caveat that there was no individual supervision in that pathway. The literature review, however, was not used just as a preparatory module, but also it helps students understand whether their research question is feasible for an empirical dissertation, for a traditional dissertation. And we were working very hard to provide in-time feedback, marks and feedback for that module way before the official release of marks, in order for the students to have an informative decision.
Panos, you
Yes,
have 2 minutes left.
2 minutes. Yes. In order to have an informed decision on whether they should choose the one or the other pathway. And I think that this helped very, very well. So this module acted as a bridge between their interest and an appropriate dissertation pathway. So the question is, are just introducing a pathway, is this enough? The answer is no. It has the pathways will create options, but the students need extra support, clarity, structure, and also supervisors need mentoring, consistency, and set expectations. So the dissertation, if you decide to do a reformed dissertation, it requires a strategic planning and a wider support architecture. So what we were adding was also, apart from what I said, extra support on weekly task lists, automatic reminders, milestones of what they need to do every month, so their students could set some targets. There were exemplary dissertations, some articles with a good understanding on research question, where they can find research question, and so on. I can talk for ages. In terms of the results, so students mainly there was a strong demand for this route. Around 85% of students chosen chosen the policy-oriented route. And however, this raise questions on how we advertise what pathways, because I think we may have overdone it, and this could have led easily in the kill of the traditional dissertation, and this is not something that we could want. In terms
Perfect,
of
Panos.
averages,
We're over time on this one,
time,
and we'll come back for Q&A at the end.
it's absolutely
Appreciate your
fine.
presentation. The chat has a lot of questions for you as well. Thank you.